Hi, my name is Daisy and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. On this platform, I create content based on my faith in Christ, marriage and motherhood, and just my lifestyle in general. I do vlogs here and there. So today, I'll be talking to you about breastfeeding, all things breastfeeding. So I'm a first-time mom, and when I gave birth to my daughter, that's when I embarked on this journey of breastfeeding. So I knew about breastfeeding, I've learned about it. I'm a nurse, so I've learned about it. I've heard about it from other people that have breastfed their babies, but it was first hand for me when I gave birth to my daughter. That's when I now experienced it for the first time. So being a first time mom, there are some things that I noticed with breastfeeding that I would like to share, and and also just share some helpful tips that I can give so that you make your breastfeeding journey enjoyable, and you love the whole process that comes with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding, to start with, this is where you choose to give your daughter or your son, let me just say your child, breast milk, and that is you feeding your baby. So with regards to that, the benefits are that it's free of charge, you have it readily available, you do not need to buy, or if you do not have the resources to buy or to access formula, you can just breastfeed your baby. And the other thing is that with breastfeeding, you are providing your daughter or your son with all the nutrients that they need. So the baby will be able to get all the nutrients that they need just from you breastfeeding. You don't have to supplement. I know here in the United States, I don't know if it's in all the states, but where I am, they tell you to supplement with vitamin D as well for those who are breastfeeding, for the breastfed babies. But other than that, you produce all the nutrients the baby will need in the breast milk. So that is one aspect that I would also talk about. And then with breastfeeding, you can feed at any time. You do not need to stop what you're doing and maybe make a bottle or anything like that. You can just feed at any time that your baby demands to feed. Then I'll also say that with breastfeeding, you are able to pump your milk and just store it. There are people that have milk stashes. They just pump a lot of milk and just store it in the freezer, so that in case maybe another caregiver, for example, maybe a spouse wants to feed the baby, they can just store the milk and just give the baby. So it is something that is easy to do, and it's readily available. With breastfeeding, you do not need to worry so much about cross-contamination with regards to maybe cleaning the bottles, not really caring for the equipment that the baby will use to feed. So with breastfeeding, you don't need all that, because you can easily just feed your child, and it's just right from your breast. So you don't really need all that cleaning equipment. Of course, you need to make sure that you are hygienically clean, so that your baby does not get any form of infections. Then being the first time that I was going to breastfeed, I did not know that there are some things that that come with breastfeeding. So to start with, I had a cesarean section. If you haven't watched my cesarean section story time, you can go and watch it. I'll link it above somewhere here. Yes. So my milk did not come I think for 2 days after I gave birth. so I was a bit worried, thinking will my milk come or not. I was advised to say I should start pumping or just hand expressing, so that I could allow the milk to start coming. And also you can also just let your child latch on you, so that that motion of them sucking will also help with the letdown. It will help with the milk coming out. So that's one thing that I was told. So while I was in the hospital, I started pumping, and other than pumping, I also hand expressed and also made sure that my child was latching, so that that form of sucking was making sure that the milk was now being produced, and I could have the let down. And then from there, after we were discharged, I came home. And when I came home, I didn't know that when the baby starts breastfeeding, the first few days or even a week, those are painful days. My nipples were sore, and they were so painful, such that when the baby is sucking, I would just clench my fists like this. Just, I was so much in pain. That was so I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I was in so much pain when she's sucking. I would feel so much pain. But that was just for the first few weeks, maybe let me say 2 weeks at the most. So if you are experiencing that and you're a first time mom, that's normal. And with time, it will come down, and you enjoy the process. So that was one thing that I didn't know, that I had to learn the hard way. Yeah, so that was the pain part that I can say. Other than that, the rest of the time, the whole process was just smooth, and I started enjoying the whole breastfeeding process. So the next thing was that, other than the pain, I noticed that I was beginning to have a bit of, like, I can't say bruises, a bit of some bruises on my nipple area, but that was taken care of. When I went to my daughter's 6 weeks appointment, the lactation specialist gave me some ointment that I could be putting on my nipples, so that they could heal and help with the baby breastfeeding well. So that was taken care of, and after a few weeks, after maybe 2 weeks, the pain had gone, and whenever she's latching and breastfeeding, I couldn't feel anything. It was just the beginning of the smooth days, so to say. Yes, so those are just some things that I noticed when I started breastfeeding. And over time, I know the baby will be waking up frequently to feed. That's okay, and that's encouraged. So if you are breastfeeding, make sure you breastfeed on demand. It helps, and just so the baby can be fed adequately, and help the baby grow and receive all those nutrients that the baby needs. And it is also important that you breastfeed in the first days, because that's when you have the colostrum, and that's very rich and important for the baby, so that the baby can grow well and can have all the nutrients that it needs. So some helpful tips that I'm going to give you today are that, firstly, even though you are going to experience the pain when breastfeeding, especially in the first few days, make sure that you continue to breastfeed. You can exchange. You give the baby in the first session, maybe you give the baby the left breast, then in the second session you give the baby the right breast. Just exchange the breast, so that you have some sort of ease at the end of the day. But make sure that you breastfeed even though it's painful, because if you do not breastfeed, then the baby firstly will not be satisfied, and secondly you will not be helping yourself in getting used to the breastfeeding process, and also helping the milk, the letdown of the milk at the end of the day. So make sure that you breastfeed on demand, and even when it's painful, continue to breastfeed. It will get better with time. And if at all you notice that it's something that's not going away, talk to your healthcare provider so that they can give you, if at all they'll need to give you some medication or health education on how you can better make the experience enjoyable for yourself. Then secondly, I'll talk about having hot showers. Take hot showers. Most of the times maybe there can be a blocked milk duct, or you can have breast engorgement. So to help relieve that, or to help prevent that, have a hot shower and just massage your breast area as you take that shower, just to allow for the milk to flow and to allow for the milk letdown to be efficient. So that's the second tip that can help you in this breastfeeding journey. And then thirdly, you should wear bras that are not constrictive, bras that will not be too tight, because those will make you, they'll make you feel uncomfortable, and they'll make your breast pain because of the milk that is coming, especially in the first days. Mostly the milk is too much. So if you wear a bra that is very tight, it becomes uncomfortable for you. So if you can find maybe a looser fitting bra, that would be very helpful. Then thirdly, you should have breast pads on hand, because those ones really help. The first few weeks especially, you'll be having an overflow of milk, and sometimes maybe you might stain your shirt, and or just the whole process of the breast milk coming out on such a high flow. So you should have breast pads. Those will help you, and they'll help you not to be having those milk spills, so to say. Then the fourth point will be, I would advise that you take lots of fluids, and you just eat a healthy diet, so that you can have a good production of breast milk. At the end of the day, the baby feeds from what we eat. So if you're not having a healthy diet, it will strain you, and it will cause you not to really effectively produce the milk that you're supposed to produce. So take fluids, and you should also make sure that you're eating a healthy diet. It is not an excuse when you're breastfeeding to overeat or to start eating. I hear this saying that I'm eating for two. Yes, you might be hungry most of the times, but that's not an excuse for you to eat an unhealthy kind of meal. You need to make sure that you eat what is healthy, you eat what is sufficient, so that the body is working perfectly, and the breast milk will be produced to your baby's demand. So that's the fourth thing I'll talk about. Then the fifth thing that I'll talk about is that as you are breastfeeding, make sure that you bath, you are clean, so that good hygiene is important, so that you do not transmit any kind of bacteria to the baby, especially to the newborn, because they are just building their immunity. So we need to be clean as we are breastfeeding our children, and just to make sure that the child is in a safe environment as they are breastfeeding. Change your bras. Do not use bras repeatedly. Change your bras, wash them frequently if you can. Make sure that your clothing is clean. Wash your hands before you breastfeed your baby, if at all you were exposed to any dirt or anything of that sort, so that we just prevent any infection that can be introduced to our baby as we feed them. So that is breastfeeding. And the sixth thing I'm going to talk about is that there are different kinds of breastfeeding positions. So do not just stick to one breastfeeding position. In case you've tried a certain breastfeeding position and it's not working for you, I would advise you to Google some breastfeeding positions, and if I can, I'll link some in the description so that you can go and read about them and also just see if those are some positions that can work for you, so that it makes the whole breastfeeding process easier for you. So breastfeeding positions are positions that will help you so to make sure that your baby is getting enough milk and you are also comfortable as you are breastfeeding the baby. The seventh thing that I'll talk about is that as you are breastfeeding, if you can apply some nipple cream just to help the breasts or the nipples not to dry out. Nipple cream that is not going to be harmful to your baby, or you can just apply a bit of Vaseline if you can, just so your nipples are not dry and not cracking, and that is going to help you with regards to your breastfeeding journey. So those are the points that I can talk about and just share with you. Otherwise, breastfeeding is a beautiful journey that we can have a good bond with our child, and as we are breastfeeding, we get to interact with our child. Of course, they are not yet talking, and in the initial phases maybe they'll just be fussy and crying and all, but when you are breastfeeding the child, you're bonding. You get to see your baby, you get to just have that undisturbed time with your child. And so that is what I have loved about breastfeeding. And I know that it might be a challenge. Maybe some women might be working mothers and they'll need to leave for work and they can only breastfeed for a short time. I would also encourage that you can also just pump some milk and store and breastfeed whenever you can, so that you still have that bond with your child at the end of the day. And I also understand that there are some women that might want to breastfeed, but because of maybe health issues or just other different circumstances, they are unable to breastfeed their child. That is totally understandable, and I hope that you have peace even in that phase of your life. And if you are trying to breastfeed, or you are looking forward to breastfeeding and you didn't really know about it, or you are scared, or there are just so many things that come with breastfeeding, I hope this video helps you, and I hope that you come through and breastfeed your baby at the end of the day. So these are just some of the tips that I thought I should share and encourage a woman out there that would be desiring to breastfeed. It is a beautiful journey. I'm just months in, but I'm enjoying it, and I hope that you also enjoy and you also be able to breastfeed your baby and choose such a time that you win them off. So these are just the tips I thought I should share, and I hope that in the comment section, if there are any other mothers, you can also contribute and just tell us your experience with breastfeeding and give other tips that can also be helpful for mothers that are considering breastfeeding. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and for being here. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you like such content, and you should also share my videos with whoever can benefit from them. Let's interact in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much, and bye.